the course of the weekend, Bitcoin has just seen a massive drop, and you need to watch this video in the coming 24 hours because in this exact video, I will be explaining about what I believe is currently happening on the Bitcoin price action right now, the most important Bitcoin support we need to be holding, and if we fail to hold this level, things could get much worse, the reasons why this week is going to be one of the most important weeks to be paying attention towards, and of course, I will be discussing this massive Bitcoin head and shoulders pattern, the most important charts and data points. I will be discussing it all on today's update video. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap that like button back above 1,000 likes. That will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. So first of all, Bitcoin has seen a very big drop over the course of the weekend, and now we are creating a new CME gap. And with the CME gap laying around 60.8k, we're expecting that inevitably we are going to be pushing back towards that upside target. But while Bitcoin is indeed dropping significantly right now, we are actually seeing quite a big drop here. And it is also actually coming from one of the most important levels of resistance of this entire consolidation phase. And I already talked about the importance before, but you can clearly see this level right here previously around provided big support, provided big resistance right here as well, flipped into support, flipped into support, flipped into support, and also right here flipped into resistance, and after that into support. So you can clearly see this level is a super important level for Bitcoin. But what is going to be happening if Bitcoin is going to be pushing back towards the downside again here? First of all, I want to be seeing Bitcoin at least bounce from the green box here, which is that previous range where we bounced from, and I believe there's going to be a lot of support around this level because we also got rejected from this level 2 days in a row right here as well. But if we see Bitcoin fall below this level, I mean, yeah, the next support is going to be the downward sloping support line, but I do really then think that there's a possibility that we're going to be filling up the wick before we're ultimately going to be going higher. And I've said this already for quite a while. I am still waiting for me to open up that next Bitcoin trade here. But if Bitcoin really is going to come down closely towards this wick, so in the region between $50,000 and $52,000, I'm going to be starting to be opening up a new big Bitcoin long position. Only if we're going to come towards that region. If Bitcoin then comes down right here or already starts to bounce from of this level where we're currently trading from, and we're just creating a higher low, things are going to be looking very good for Bitcoin as well. But of course, then I will be benefiting from it on my spot position. But we really need to see how Bitcoin is going to be behaving, because this week is going to be one of the most important weeks here. Because first of all, last week we basically cemented that the Federal Reserve is going to be cutting the rates here. And this week, we're going to get the inflation data from the US again. And if it is going to come in higher than expected, or if it's going to come in higher than consensus, we could definitely argue that the Federal Reserve is going to be a little bit more stubborn, and they're not going to cut the rates by 50 BPS, no, only by 25 maybe, because they think, oh, the inflation is still too sticky, so we need to be having a stronger monetary policy. So what we want to be seeing, what would be extremely bullish for the market, is that inflation is going to be dropping back down again, but the forecast remains to be that it is just going to be staying sticky, the exact same like it was last month as well here. But this data is going to be important to be paying attention towards. This data will be coming out on Wednesday, so whenever this is going to be hitting the markets, I will be letting you know what I'm going to be doing, how this is going to be playing out as we're going to be closing in towards this data event here. This is going to be one of the most important data points of this week, which is going to be happening, and you need to know why Bitcoin is doing certain things here. And I also quickly want to be pointing out is that while I actually looked on the bigger perspective here on the weekly time frame, I just found out that Bitcoin is actually creating one of the largest weekly head and shoulders patterns I've actually ever seen getting created on Bitcoin. This is literally the largest head and shoulders pattern Bitcoin has ever created. And we are right now, of course, already found that bottom. We bounced towards the upside of the bottom. The weekly candle that we closed yesterday also was in the green. Extremely bullish close in my opinion. And right now, what we're just looking at is that Bitcoin is going to be breaking that neckline, because as soon as we do break the neckline, that is the point where Bitcoin is most likely going to be going the most exponential. And if we're then going to be looking at the Bitcoin rainbow chart, we can see that actually we're still sitting on a fire sale here. So I believe that right now still we are at the beginning stage of that next cycle for Bitcoin. And if you're then just going to be comparing the previous cycles to each other, this, what we're currently seeing, is just perfectly normal, what always has happened in previous cycles. The Bitcoin bull market is usually going to start a little bit later. Somewhere around now, the Bitcoin bull market tends to be starting. So, guys, we have not missed anything yet so far here, and we're still on track on having a great bull market in the coming years, and we're still on track on having a great altcoin season, a great bull market in the coming months ahead of ourselves right now here. So nothing is changing. This cycle literally is only just started, and the uptrend will inevitably start anytime soon, and the halving effect will be kicking in. Then at the same time right now, the market is currently in extreme fear, and like I said in many times before, once the market is extremely fearful, it is actually a great time to be greedy, because just like Warren Buffett always told us, whenever they are fearful, you need to be greedy, and whenever everyone is greedy, you should be fearful. And this is right now the right example. Everyone is in fear that Bitcoin is going to be breaking lower, that Bitcoin is going to be crashing down here. But of course, I want to be accumulating more Bitcoin. I want to be accumulating more spot positions right now here. And for my trade, I'm going to be a little bit more patient, because trading is a little bit more dangerous. So for my spot position, of course, I'm currently buying around these levels, because I do believe this is a good accumulation range in general. I already explained to you what I'm going to be doing with my trade, and yeah, just like you can see over here, guys, I have bought so many altcoins around these levels. I think it's an extremely good buy here. So if you're going to be buying any altcoins, trading any altcoins, make sure to go to the link description of today's video, because if you go to the highest link description of today's video, you will come to this page where you can actually claim a free $500 airdrop position on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Pepe, Dogecoin, 0x, whatever you want, Arbitrum, Jupiter, whatever you want here. So if you want to be claiming this free position, just press to the link description of today's video, and then press right here, register to claim. It's only valid for another 37 days, but it is extremely valuable if you are interested in that. So make sure to check it out right now in the link description of today's video. And while we are indeed having that minor drop towards the downside, guys, while I was looking through the funding rate chart, everything is heavily getting shorted. And like I always said here, whenever everything is getting shorted, we usually tend to see a big short squeeze. So Bitcoin, people are saying, who is right now selling Bitcoin again? It's most likely not that someone is selling. It's most likely that a lot of people are shorting Bitcoin, and that is why we're moving down here. And if we can manage to squeeze out those short positions, we're going to get a very big short liquidation. And of course, we do know that an approximately 10 to 15 billion US dollars worth of Bitcoin short liquidations are laying around that 70 to 74,000 US dollar area. So I'm definitely hoping Bitcoin eventually is going to be hitting that level. And I don't really see a reason to really be bearish on Bitcoin right now here, while the actual interest from retail is sitting close to all-time lows here, guys. It is on the search term altcoins, it's on the search term Bitcoin. All the search terms right now on Google are extremely low in popularity, and that is just indicating there's no real retail interest yet in the market, and that is why I believe Bitcoin is a good buy here. I mean, still, we're seeing the Tether market cap increase. Bitcoin is ever so slightly down right now here, but it is just inevitably going to be pushing back towards the upside, as we are seeing more money supply entering the market, and more money supply with a scarce asset is only going to be doing one thing, and that is increasing the valuation of that exact asset. So on the weekly time frame, we're seeing the hash ribbons flying buy signal, and don't forget, we're creating one of the biggest head and shoulders patterns right now we have ever seen on Bitcoin in history. So things are looking very great for Bitcoin. And I want to be quickly also pointing out here is that currently we can even actually compare Bitcoin to gold here. And if we're going to be comparing Bitcoin towards the gold chart, we're seeing very similar consolidation, just like gold had as well in the market. So I believe that there's ultimately no big reason to be panicking right now. And the only panic I have is that I've not accumulated enough Bitcoin before that big bull market is going to get started. So this is it for me in today's update video. If you learned something from it, don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. And see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.